Okay, I'm Jos Jonckers. I'm working in Europaid, the coordination unit for Asia and Central Asia. And together with Franck Viault, my colleague, we are responsible in Directorate D for anything which has to do with aid effectiveness, including with the technical cooperation mapping. I think the quality of the data and so on, and the quality and interpretation of the template and the requirements, has this gone as we expected, or have there been some problems?
No, in general it was okay. I think it was very good to have the example from Nicaragua, because they have done the exercise before. It was a good example for each delegation. So I think we had less problems than in the past with this Annex C, especially for the mapping. And of course we have discrepancies from one delegation to another. Some are reporting very openly the problems. Others, for others, a few others, everything is perfect. Only A marking, and but I think in general this exercise has been taken very seriously by our delegations. So, and we will need to check in details now with the geo-coordinator the data which has been provided. So
this is the first important step, that our geo-coordinators will now have to go back to delegations and clarify some of the information or make sure that it is consistent. Now let's go to the more the qualitative assessment of the data. Could you maybe briefly go through the findings of this quality assessments?
Yeah. Out of the 180 projects I mentioned, which were mapped, only 5% of them. Only on 5% of them, the delegations are reporting serious deficiencies, at least for one of the 5 criteria, and so that's quite low. And around 30%, 31% experience some problems in one of the criteria. And perhaps if we look at the where are the problems, where we have the greatest number of C marks, by order of importance, it's first of all appropriate implementation arrangements for 17% of the cases always for ongoing projects. We have those kind of problems, and adequate ownership for 15%.
1 in 6, in fact. Yeah.
And then some clear links to results and outcome for these projects. And then coordination with the donors, and if these projects are really fitting to the context, is not really a problem in our region.
Mm-hmm. Now let's go to the parallel project implementation units. And again there we have a bit of a fuzzy development. If you could briefly summarize it, Frank.
Yes, the result of the exercise is that we have, for the time being, 41 parallel PIUs in Asia and Central Asia. But also at the same time we have some discrepancies, as we can say, between delegations and even delegations in neighboring countries. So we will need to check.
In Central Asia, you mean?
It's in Central Asia. Yeah. And but we have parallel PIUs more or less everywhere. The good news is that out of these 41 parallel PIUs, most of them will disappear by 2010, and but 14 will remain. So we will have to work on these 14. And the bad news is that for 2009 we will apparently have 16 new parallel PIUs. So even more work to integrate them in the future.
Well, I think we should pick that up in the QSG process also, because the fact that this is proposed may be justified, but I think it would be appropriate to discuss this a bit more in depth, and this will help us to identify where this. It's a very good starting point, and I think the exercise has helped to structure and put a dashboard up on this, which will now allow us to, I would say, where the arrows are in the orange or the red, to bring them to the green. So we are in a position now to manage it much more better with our delegation, and I think the feedback, and as Franck has been saying, the way they have responded to this, I would say, is a reassurance to us that the delegations are buying into this. So I think this is a very good starting point.
But we will have a lot of work in changing the way we are implementing this program. So more decentralized management, and a lot of work also to integrate those parallel PAUs.
This exercise, of course, draws us into something which is quite complex, and as the tables are showing and so on. And there is always the risk that we get lost in the process. In fact, that the process becomes the end, and that we forget about what the real end is, and this is improving our aid effectiveness. So I think we should be constantly aware of the fact that if we are dealing with all these nitty-gritty things, the ultimate goal of all this is to make sure that our aid is producing better benefits and impact for the beneficiaries and our countries, our partner countries.